Hello my friends, our film begins in 1981 in San Francisco with Chris Cardin, the inventor of the portable bone imaging device and who made a great effort and everything he had in order to develop and market it widely, but the device is a bit expensive, so it was difficult to market and sell it. This leads to problems with his wife, Linda, who works all day to pay bills and taxes. One day he saw his dream car and asked its owner how he could buy one like it. The man replied that he works as a stockbroker, so Chris decided to apply to DeWalter in order to get a job there. He tried to reach the company's resource manager there and got in the car with him, hoping to convince him. Fortunately for Chris, the manager was trying to solve the Rubik's Cube game, which was impossible to solve in less than half an hour. Because of this conversation, Chris was late for his son, who was lost in the nursery, which caused the anger of his wife, and she decided to leave him and leave. As things go wrong, Chris receives a call from the DeWalter company, setting an appointment for an interview. Then he comes the next day and finds his wife Lindy in the nursery and quarrels with her and tells her that his son will stay with him and then take him home, and because he is late in paying the rent, the owner of the apartment quarrels with him and tells him to either pay or kick him out of the apartment, but Chris makes a deal with him which is to stay in the apartment several days in exchange for painting the apartment. Unfortunately for Chris, the police come and arrest him due to the large number of taxes and unpaid debts on him. As a result, he was late for the interview and had to go to the interview in his housework clothes and try to convince them that he was skilled at work and an expert in numbers. Then the interview manager asks him what Chris thinks if he wants to hire someone, and Chris replies that that person should be well dressed. Then he is employed in the company, but he faces a problem with not spending any money until after a 6-month training in the company. But Mr. Twison tries to persuade him to come to the training. Then Chris keeps thinking about the training subject until he decides to contact Mr. Twain and tell him to agree to the training. Then he moved to a cheaper hotel and left his son in nursery school, and he had to end a certain number of calls in order to remain a leader in his choice of job. So he made a plan that he would reduce drinking during training, which would save him time to go to the bathroom and thus would save himself additional time, and to some extent, his life began to improve until he received a mail asking him to pay the taxes, or else it would be withdrawn from his account automatically. In fact, all his money is withdrawn from the account and he starts trying to compensate by selling the devices. After a long day returning home, he finds the owner of the house throwing his belongings outside the house because he did not pay the rent. Then he has to go to the metro station, which makes him have to sleep in the bathrooms with his son, and he tells his son some stories because he has no money. Then he is forced to sleep in a shelter for the poor in any place available to him, even on the bus or under the bridge or parks. Then the 6 months pass quickly and finally he is informed of his appointment to the DeWalter company as a broker, and for the first time he feels great joy.